Hey everybody, welcome back to ChortleCast. I'm Jake, and with me today, Steven, the King of Thieves. How's it going, Steven?
It's doing good, my man.
How's it doing? I don't know where that came from. How's it going?
How
are you doing?
How's it going? Yeah, it can happen to anybody. It's fine. I'm not mad.
Whatever. I'm
don't be sorry, be better.
That's right. Thank you. Boy. Hey, everybody. Thank you for being a part today. This is ChortleCast, the official podcast of Chortle Games that airs every Monday, 12 o'clock Central Time, where we talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We've got a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about that new Far From Home trailer, Steven, that freaking blew my mind. We're going to talk about a U.S. senator potentially passing a bill that will ban loot boxes to children. Which could really, do some damage. And then State of Play, we're going to talk about that. And the second State of Play, talk all about those announcements and how we felt about them. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to talk about Detective Pikachu, which I saw this weekend. And Steven is going to talk about, we're going to talk about some games and other stuff we've been watching and playing. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But let's get started, Steven, with that Far From Home trailer. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, if you haven't seen in-game, potentially pause and move on for a second, because
if you haven't seen in-game, there will be spoilers for in-game.
There will be spoilers for in-game.
There's no dancing around it.
If you haven't seen the Far From Home trailer, I would recommend you watch that before we talk about it.
Right.
But anyway, let's talk about it, Steven. What did you think?
I thought the trailer looked good. It looks entertaining.
Yeah.
There's an elephant in the room that I don't know if you want to talk about it now or wait for it.
Let's talk about it. I love elephants, especially the ones that are in rooms.
So, that was dumb. So, multiverse.
Yes.
I've done some research.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about this movie, mainly because of the multiverse line. Because one of two things is going to happen. Well, here, let me talk about my research first. So, for those of you that haven't seen it and did not heed our spoiler warning,
the big thing is that there's a multiverse now, and
yes.
Fury says that the snap tore a hole in reality, and there's now multiple universes, or right. We now have access to the multiverse, and so
and that Mysterio is from a different Earth.
Yes.
So here are my thoughts on that.
Okay.
One, I read yesterday
the
writers of Endgame did not know that was happening.
Right.
That's a red flag. That is a huge red flag.
Right.
Like, that tells me that either they've got something grander at play that Kevin Feige is in the full know about, or Sony played the we have creative control card and was like, well, shoot, Into the Spider-Verse worked so well, let's just throw multiple dimensions in this Spider-Man.
That's my biggest fear about this, is that they're trying to bank off the success of Into the Spider-Verse, which rightly so was an amazing movie, but I don't know that I want that to be everything,
So I'm worried about that. But I think I'm more worried that they're going to do what they tried to do with The Last Jedi and Captain Marvel and basically build the movie around this gotcha moment. And I've realized that is a huge pet peeve of mine when it comes to movies. I don't want the movie to feel like it's trying to get the wool over my eyes just so that it can say that it did it.
Right.
That's not why I go to movies. I don't want to be like, oh, wow, the Skrulls are good guys. You got me. Like, no, I want to see the Skrulls represented properly for their first cinematic appearance. And so with this multiverse thing, my worry is that they're going to be like, oh, there's a multiverse. And they're going to set this idea of the multiverse. And then Mysterio is going to be like, just kidding. Illusions. I'm Mysterio. I'm a liar. And I think that it would be the best outcome of this is that S.H.I.E.L.D. does do the research themselves. I say S.H.I.E.L.D., Fury and his team does the research, and they are like, we can confirm this is multiple dimensions now. And Mysterio, amongst the chaos, just says, yes, I'm totally a hero from one of those other Earths. But my worry is that he's feeding them lies completely, and that the multiverse thing is his fabrication,
right,
not Fury's research.
I feel like, knowing Fury, I don't think he would so easily fall for that unless Mysterio was doing some sort of mind control something with him. But
You say that, but Fury got his eyes scratched out by a cat, Jake.
It's true.
That man is alive.
You're alive, Fury. I think he's still going to end up being a quote villain, but I think what it is, I think he's going to be a hero in his universe, and in order to save his universe, he's going to have to sacrifice ours. And so I think he and Spider-Man will be at odds at some point. But I don't necessarily think he's trying to trick everybody on, let's call us Earth 1. You know, I don't think he's trying to trick Earth 1. I think he's trying to save Earth 35 or whatever that he ends up from.
See, I think it's almost the opposite, where like he's disgraced on his Earth if he is from another Earth, or he's disgraced on this Earth, and he's trying to reinvent himself as a hero.
Well, and I have thought even before we heard about the multiverse stuff, I've been under the assumption from the beginning that he was creating these monsters as they're his illusions, so that he can fight them and save the day and be a hero.
Yeah, that's my consensus as well.
Yeah.
What else about the trailer? That was the main thing.
I mean,
I heard that, and I was
that's
like,
really the main thing. I mean, I don't know that we learned too much more from that, but going along with the concern of this, and I totally agree with you. I hate when things feel like an afterthought. Like all of Captain Marvel to me felt like an afterthought. Like, oh shoot, we got to throw Captain Marvel in here. Well, what if we put her in the past and like we try to connect her to some things, instead of it being like, oh, when we made Avengers 2, we were like, okay, we know we want to do a Captain Marvel, so we need to place this here and that there, and like you set things up, and not, instead of like, 5 movies later going back to something and being like, ho ho ho, this was here the whole time. But like, I don't know, things feeling like an afterthought I don't like. So it does concern me with the wording, because we established in Endgame that there can be alternate timelines, right? We have a timeline where Loki escapes after the Battle of New York. We have a timeline where, there's all sorts of timelines. There's a timeline where Steve stays behind, There's all these different timelines, and we established that the time stream can break up and create different branches. Is that the same as a multiverse? Because I don't decree that the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm concerned about.
That's why this feels so wrong. Like, it just feels like it's too much just matter of fact, like, oh, hey, there's this. And it feels like all this groundwork laying that the MCU has been doing, it feels like that now that Endgame is over, people are just doing what they want.
Right.
Like, it just feels like we don't have that central thought anymore.
And that's why I think it was so weird of a choice to have Spider-Man be the movie after Endgame. Like, I understand it because like we've had Kevin say like, this is kind of a down to earth, like, how do you move on from what we've experienced in Endgame? And I get that, and I think Spider-Man's a great character for that, but you're sharing this with Sony, right? I don't know what role Sony plays in this other than they get the money. Like, I don't know how much creative control they have, but I just think that's a weird choice you're going to lay your foundation for the rest of whatever you're going to do on this. And like, I understand and I think this is a weird choice, that Spider-Man is technically the last movie in the Infinity Saga, which I don't get that either. I don't understand how that works.
It's not the last movie in the Infinity Saga. It's the last movie in Phase 3, but the Infinity Saga concluded with Endgame, which did not conclude Phase 3.
Right, and see, that's strange to me. I don't understand that. But whatever.
It is.
Whatever. We can move on from that.
But
it looks good. I'm excited to see it.
I mean, I love Spider-Man. I'm excited to see more Spider-Man. And I just there's a lot that could go wrong here.
Yeah. I do want to touch on though. I am really coming around to Zendaya's MJ. I'm
not yet.
I predicted on the podcast. I was like, they're gonna get to the end of the movie and they're gonna be like, "Oh, hey Michelle," and she's gonna be like, "Nah, call me MJ," and that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really proud of that prediction. But I was just so frustrated because I was like, she's not MJ. Like, this is not how this is supposed to work. But at seeing her in these trailers and seeing them have more of a romantic connection, I'm all on board. Like, I think she's going to be great.
I don't have an issue with her being who she is in the movies. Like, I don't have an issue with her being Michelle, but calling her MJ, it feels wrong.
Right.
Like, she's not MJ, and I don't think that. I mean, we saw that another romance can work with Spider-Man through Gwen Stacy.
Right.
So just call her something else. Don't feel like you have to tie her to a character just so that comic fans who you're targeting can be like, oh, I understood that reference, and then 2 seconds later be like, I hate that.
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway, I agree with you. Yeah. Make she should just be Michelle, but I'm really coming around to her as a character. So anyway, all right, let's move on, Steven. Gonna be a good trailer. Let's talk about this new bill that's being passed. So we hate microtransactions, right? Like I hate microtransactions. Yeah. Do you hate loot boxes and all that stuff, Steven?
I do. I really do.
Yeah, okay, all right. I figured you did. I spoke really confidently that you did, and then I was like, I assume he does. I don't think anybody does, really. I mean, other than,
it's Steven, he hates everything. It's a solid bet to say that, Steven, you hate this, right? And he'll say yes.
I mean, it's a pretty safe bet to say that Steven probably hated something, right?
I hate you all.
Okay, anyway. There's a Republican U.S. Senator named Josh Hawley. He announced Wednesday that he's going to introduce a bill that would ban microtransactions in both console and mobile games. And it's specifically targeting games that target kids. So it's called the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act, which is a great name. It's focused on those under the age of...
Real page turner.
Do what?
Real page turner, that bill.
I'm telling you. You got to get a good headline. If you're going to pass a bill, it's got to be really, really enticing. It's focused on the kids under the age of 18 who are purchasing in-game goods through marketed free-to-play games that have easy in-app purchases for kids to buy in order to release more content. Basically, he just wants to do that. He's saying they're exploiting children, which makes sense, yada, yada. When a game is designed for kids, developers shouldn't be allowed to monetize addiction. When kids play games designed for adults, they should be walled off from compulsive microtransactions. So anyway, he's basically he's passing a bill that's going to make it a law where, if you're making a game and it's going to be free to play and it's going to have microtransactions or loot boxes, you've got to have something that blocks children from either being enticed to get these sorts of things, and then also making it more difficult for them to do, which I think is a great plan, and I don't know why we aren't.
It's not a bad idea,
right?
And I feel like it could be coming from a good place.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to be like, oh, I bet his kid got him $150 charged in Fortnite, so now he's like, ban the Fortnite. But
ban the Fortnite.
I think that it does need to be in place that, and Matt Pat actually did a whole theory on Jake Paul over at Film. It was Film Theory, I think, because this was YouTube related, about how what he does is technically illegal when it comes to marketing to children.
Right. Yeah.
And so he did a lot of that kind of abiding by the law kind of stuff and what it looks like when it comes to doing advertisements and stuff targeted to kids. So that's interesting. So if you want to learn more about that, check him out. Film Theory. He's great. He's my favorite YouTuber. But, and this is going to sound overly idealistic, but the problem isn't inherently the games. it's the stupid parents that don't monitor their kids when they play these games.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. I feel like there are some things like I think the Apple Store or something like that. Like there are steps that you can take in parental controls to like block the ability for in-game purchases, or at least give an extra step where like you have to put in a password or you have to have something approved. Like those sorts of things should already exist. And yeah, you're right. It is totally a parent's responsibility to manage that and keep an eye on that.
There needs to be a safeguard in place, but parents cannot expect to be like, well, okay, good, there's a safeguard in place. Now my kid can play all these games and not bother me about it. That's terrible. Like the kids need to be monitored, what they play, what they watch. We're getting in such a culture where like everything is so internet focused, and literally anything is at the fingertips of a child.
Sometimes the kids know how to handle it better, or how to use the technology better than their parents do.
Yeah, and like it's dangerous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's I don't know. Soapbox. Sorry.
Get off your soapbox.
Kids. Get off the Fortnite. Go outside.
Go outside. Play with your sticks. Throw a ball. Kick a rock. Whatever you got to do. Yeah, I agree with you. It's this. I think this is good. This is a good step. But yeah, that's got to be the parents. Yeah. The other thing that I'm interested to see from this is how is this going to affect the industry?
Right.
Because
that's my fear, is that it's going to create tension with the industry and kind of do some harm from a behind the scenes look, where there's going to become an over-regulation.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Well, and so I don't like microtransactions for the most part. I really don't like loot boxes, because it's like, either you earn some in-game points or you pay for some in-game points to purchase a box that's going to have completely random stuff in it. So like with Overwatch, say I want this one skin. There's no way to purchase this one skin. You have to roll the dice on loot boxes over and over and over.
Right.
And so I hate that that's there, period, but it's I think microtransactions have come out of this need for games should really be costing more than they are. But people are already looking for the deal, as soon as a game comes out, you're looking at GameStop. When are they going to drop this price? When are they going to have a special deal? You're looking on Stream sales or PSN sales or whatever. Like, we're already, as consumers, looking to get the game cheaper than it is, and developers really need to be selling it more expensive than they are. So what they're doing now is they're making DLC and they're doing microtransactions, and on top of that, even beyond all of that, everything has to be a service game, a game of service, right? That you play forever.
Right.
And so they want to charge you for content they're going to continue to make that may or may not be worth sticking around the game for.
And I don't want to spend too much more time on the topic, but without opening up a can of worms here, I don't think that shift towards loot boxes and towards games of service, I honestly don't think that was out of necessity. I think it's out of greed.
Okay.
Because you hear about the video game industry only becoming more and more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they've started with these tactics that earn them more money than they originally would have gotten with the games that they make.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they would necessarily lose money outright. And I'm not a business guy necessarily, but I just think the patterns are interesting. I don't think money would be lost outright if those practices were stopped, because you have games like God of War, which did not have any DLC, did not have any monetization, had updates after launch, no loot boxes, and it turned a profit.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, I see that and I think these game developers don't need that necessarily. Like they do it so that the industry can be heightened. not so that they can turn a profit. It's so they can turn more profit.
Oh, maybe so. I don't know. We won't open that can of worms, but I'm curious to see how this is going to affect that. If it's going to stop it outright, is it just going to be a nuisance? What's it going to do? We'll have to find out.
Right.
All right, Steven. PlayStation has decided to go the Nintendo Direct route. We've already had one of these state of play videos. The second one has happened pretty close together. I feel like we just got the other one, you know?
Yeah. And with this one, if you blinked, you missed it. Like,
yeah,
it was here and gone.
Yeah, it was only like 11 minutes long, which they said it was going to be 10 minutes. So we got an extra minute in there somehow. Overall, I was disappointed, but I think it's just because there wasn't a lot that I particularly cared about in it.
Right.
What are some things you'd like to talk about, Steven, out of it?
Me personally, there's only one thing that I actually really want to talk about.
Okay.
But I will like hit a few, I guess. Monster Hunter, Iceborne.
Yeah.
I think is what it's called. That's great for people that love Monster Hunter. That's great because I've heard that like the size of the expansion is comparable to the base game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a huge expansion, and that's great because I personally can't do Monster Hunter anymore. I did it for a little while, and then no one played it with me, and so I can't do that.
I tried it
because like people who play Monster Hunter are comfortable with playing with pugs, and you all know how I feel about pugs. So can't. Sorry. But I enjoyed the game, but I just didn't. Yeah, stupid pugs. I stopped playing, and I won't be returning. But I think that's really cool that the game has this huge update that's coming. So that's great for them.
I mean, yeah, you talk about value in your game. That's a lot when it continues to update, and especially with quality expansions like this.
Right.
Yeah. Which we've known that this Iceborne update was coming for a while.
Yeah, we did.
This was just the most we've seen of it yet.
Right.
And I think this was the first time we got a confirmed date. So, which is September 6th, 2019, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was June.
Nope. It will be hitting PS4 and Xbox One on September 6th, 2019.
That's so weird because it said June something on the screen during the video.
Did it really?
It did. It said June 6th, I think.
Did it say live stream June 6th? Also, by the way, while we're on this notion of, I thought it said this, whatever. I think it was the last podcast we talked about the Sonic trailer, and I was telling you about how the first scene when Sonic like zips past the car and the radar just said 75 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's so stupid. I don't get it. In Detective Pikachu, they showed that trailer, and it does say 760. But they really should have given another number because it's really easy to think that it just says 76.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. But no, September 6th, 2019.
That's so weird. I'll have to rewatch it because I swear it said June.
It might have said like live stream June. No. I know what it said. It said more information in June. And I was like, cool, they're going to talk about that at E3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read off. Do you have a list?
I do. So, they opened up with Monster Hunter. I don't have this list in order, so I'm just going to bounce around. They ended the show with the Final Fantasy VII remake. They say it's back. Like has it been? I mean, we've known about it for forever. It's just we haven't gotten any updates.
That game, honestly, I don't think we're going to see it for like 2, maybe 3 years. I think them saying it's back because we've seen that they've been like hiring for positions for this game.
Yeah.
And so it's like, guys, you need to calm down because this game is probably not even a quarter done.
Yeah, no, not at all. It looks so good though.
It really does. I'm really excited for it. I'm definitely going to be getting it. When it comes out and I can show my grandkids as I'm playing through for the first time.
Yeah. They mentioned that they will talk more about it in June, and I assume that Square Enix will talk about it at their presentation.
Right.
Who knows? yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. The state of play, like when they announced it, they were like, we're gonna have an in-depth look at Medieval, the Medieval remake. I would not consider what we got an in-depth look. It was basically just another trailer with a little bit of story.
It was a gameplay trailer.
And then we got a release date. It's going to be out in October 25th, which I think is a great day for this to come out. Little spooky, but not much. Just a little fun Halloween game. So anyway, I thought that was weird. I'm not. Are you excited about that one at all?
No, but it looks like a cool remake for somebody who is excited for it, but I'm not excited for it.
Yeah, I could really care less about it. But again, I didn't care for Crash Bandicoot. I did care about Spyro, and I'm sure there were people who didn't care about Spyro, and they're way pumped about Medieval. And hey, that's why we're all here. We love video games. Okay, just let it happen. Everybody gets their turn for their remake. This just isn't mine.
Except for the people who want Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, yeah. Poor Final Fantasy VII, folks.
Yep.
And then we got this Predator game, which was a new IP, or not even a new IP, but like a new thing.
Fresh announcement, yeah, hot off the press.
I was cooking while that trailer happened, so
yeah.
I watched the guys kind of combat going through the woods, and I'm just like, what is this? Yeah. And I kind of was looking away, looking back, looking away, looking back, and I saw the scene where you see, quote unquote, the Predator.
Yeah.
But being someone who's half cooking, half watching, I didn't see the Predator. So then it just goes, boom, the Predator. I was like, that was a weird trailer. What? And so, anyway, rewatching it, and you see...
You saw what the Predator wanted you to see, which is nothing.
There you go, nothing. But you see, the little heat waves that are him.
Yeah.
And, anyway, that one sounds like it's going to be a Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight 4v1 type of game, where it's only fun to be the Predator.
Yep.
And I don't know, could be interesting. I'd be interested to try that one, but I'm not the biggest Predator fan either. I've seen one of the movies, so I don't know. That's just not something that gripped me. They had River Bond, which was a pixelated dungeon crawler. It's I say pixelated, but it's 3D. It looks more like Minecraft. They have a ton of fun indie characters. There's the Lovers in the Dangerous Space-Time character. There's Shovel Knight. There's Guacamelee.
The kid from Bastion.
Do what?
There's the kid from Bastion.
Oh yeah, yeah. The kid from Bastion's in there.
I love that kid.
There's a lot of fun little people in there. But anyway, I don't know. I don't. That game didn't really call out to me either, but it looks like it'll be a fun celebration of indie games.
Right.
Then there was Zaboomafoo, the game, otherwise known as Away. That was their new IP that they hinted at, and basically you play as a little flying squirrel or something, and you're trying to.
It was a lemur.
It's a flying lemur.
Maybe it looked like a lemur.
It looked like a. That's why I called it Zaboomafoo, the movie or the game.
Madagascar, the king from Madagascar. That's what I kept thinking when I saw it.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, you play as some sort of lemur. You're fighting off animals. You're running from animals. You're trying to survive in the wilderness. There are games that are very similar to this. I can't think of it to save my life. There's some game about a badger where you play as a mama badger and you have 4 cubs. And it's very much like Journey. You're trying to get to this one place, but you have to go through so many trials, and you could potentially lose your babies. And so the goal of the game is to see how many babies you can get to the end with. And there's scenes where you're running from an eagle and all this other stuff. This game looked like a more graphically. A better graphics version of those games. So I'm really curious to see what it's actually going to be. But it didn't really butter my egg rolls or anything like that. So then the stupidest announcement, they announced a Days of Play special edition PS4.
Yeah.
Why? we all like you're already talking about PS5. No one is gonna buy your special edition PS4.
Only like the absolute ridiculous cash cows, or what do they call them? The whales.
The whales.
The ones that'll just.
Yeah, you know, I say that, but we're in the process of moving right now. In fact, this week we'll be completely moved. We're, for the most part, moved out of our current apartment. I sold my PS3, Steven, my original PS3 that I got when the PS3 came out.
Yeah.
And I put that thing on like Facebook Marketplace, and it sold within a day. And I had like 50 or 60 people messaging me about it. It was insane. I have no idea. I was not expecting it. Like, I literally was just going to toss it because I was like, GameStop offered me $60 for this when the PS4 came out. And that was 5-6 years ago, you know? So I was like, they're definitely not going to give me anything now. So I just put it up for like $60 on Facebook, and people were jumping at it. It was crazy.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe people will jump at this. I just don't. I don't understand it. Was it even a PS4 Pro? I don't even think it was a PS4 Pro.
I don't know. That seemed like much more of an E3 thing, which, not to rag on Sony, and again, I don't want to spend too much time on this topic. I'm pretty much ready to move on, but you do those kinds of announcements, like here's a new PlayStation, when the Xbox players are watching,
right?
Like at E3, which they're not going to be at.
Right.
You don't do that for like, hey, PlayStation fans, this is our live stream to talk about why it's great to be a PlayStation fan. Hey, here's a new PlayStation that you can all buy if you don't have a PlayStation. What? You all have a PlayStation?
What do you mean? Yeah, I don't. That was such a weird choice. I am curious though. This state of play and the last one are not that far apart. I remember being very surprised when another one was announced. And I'm curious if we're not going to get one next month. Around E3. Thing? What did you say?
Do you think this might be a monthly thing?
I mean, didn't the last one happen a month or so ago?
I want to say it was a month ago, because I think Anna and I were married, and that would have been April.
I just don't know, especially with Sony doubling down on we're going to make fewer, better games. And like we're really going to focus on having 4 or 5 major titles that knock it out of the park, like God of War. That's what they're moving towards. And you're going to tell me you're going to have a monthly showcase to show all that you're working on? That's not going to fly. And the first one that we got that was mostly VR games, I thought was a great example of what I was like, okay, Sony could do this. They could do directs like Nintendo and have enough stuff. Like you drop in a little bit from one of your 5 games, but then you show us everything else that's working. You show us all the VR stuff. You show us all the little indie game stuff that are coming to Sony first. Got it. Cool. That's what we're doing with these. And this one just felt very different from the last one. The last one, I was super excited about a lot of things they announced. That was when they finally gave a release date for Falcon Age, which was a VR game I've been waiting for. So I thought that one was great, and this one just was kind of meh. So I don't know.
We'll see.
I hope it's not monthly. I hope they at least do bi-monthly or something.
Right.
I don't know. Because Nintendo, when a Nintendo Direct happens, you stop and you watch it and you get hyped because something big is going to happen.
Right.
And I just don't think if they do this, even if they do this bi-monthly, I don't think you're going to have those moments. So, whatever. That's all for news. Steven.
Actually, there is one more news topic that we didn't bring up.
Breaking news, everybody.
It's not breaking because it broke on Thursday, I think. But a new Ghost Recon game was announced.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. See this,
and I wanted to touch on it because
these are things that I don't care about. That someone else has to tell me. Hey, I want to talk about this. Talk about it, Steven.
I forgot about it, and then I don't remember what triggered it. It may have been the Days of Play, or the State of Play, whatever the stupid PlayStation thing's called. It may have been that, but they announced a new Ghost Recon game called Breakpoint.
Right.
That takes place immediately after Wildlands. And I won't go into too many details because, let's face it, you don't care. But Wildlands was definitely more of a tactical Grand Theft Auto, where it focused more on mayhem.
Right. Kind of like Just Cause.
Breakpoint, pretty much, it was like a tactical Just Cause, without a grappling hook. So Breakpoint begins with you going into enemy territory and being expected. They know you're coming, and they shoot you down, and your character is the only survivor of your squad. So in Breakpoint, you are behind enemy lines, focused on survival. It is 4-player co-op, but it's a lot more about preparation, planning, teamwork, all that kind of stuff. It sounds like it's right up my alley. I won't go into too much detail, but they showed a like 14-minute alpha gameplay footage. They talked about it a lot. There is a ex-U.S. Green Beret who wrote the story. They did a lot of correcting from Wildlands. It's going to be more stealth-oriented, but not forcing you into stealth. There is a class system, which put a class system in a game, and I'm like, hey, where do I sign up, you know? But, and it comes out October.
Wow.
This year.
Wow.
Yeah, like, that was really unexpected, but I don't know if it'll actually happen.
Is that Ubisoft?
Yeah, it's Ubisoft.
Yeah, Ubisoft is really good about doing that. They don't really talk well, except for that stupid monkey game. They usually make announcements, and then they're like, bam, here you go. It's coming. Like, they give you a pretty tangible date. I say that, but then I keep thinking of more like Black Sails. Is that even out yet?
No.
Yeah. Okay,
in the past, Ubisoft has been really bad about sticking to their release dates. But Ubisoft has changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
But Breakpoint, it looks really cool. It's a day one for me. But what's interesting, it's always online. There will be no AI companions, which is a huge deal for a Ghost Recon game, because in the past, if you play solo, you're supposed to command your squad, and that's like what you do. In this game, since canonically Nomad, the player character, is the only one that lives, he's doing it alone.
Yeah.
But it looks really cool, but it sounds like they're making another games as service out of Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a raid in this game.
Right.
In a non-loot based Ghost Recon game that will have a progression system through classes, but like, that worries me because I don't know if that's the right fit for Ghost Recon. Yeah. I'm going to enjoy it. I know I will, but it just feels like something will have been lost.
Well, and I'm just curious if when you're playing solo in the past, you've been given AI to command and utilize, are they expecting you to play with pugs in the other game or just go solo?
Yes. Pugs, probably.
Yeah, that's
like,
annoying.
They're saying that it is doable for you to play solo, and solo will be an option, but they're definitely going to push you towards matchmaking.
Yeah. I just want to play alone sometimes. You know what I mean?
I get you. But you don't have to play with all four. You can play with anywhere between 1 and 4.
Right.
Which is good for me because I don't have 3 friends that play games with me. So
consistently, at least.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick. If anyone's interested, I'll just let me know in the comments, and I'll direct you to where all of that stuff is, like the announcement and everything. But they did it was like 40 minutes to an hour, it felt like, of them just talking about this game that we had not heard of yet. John Bernthal is in it. That's the guy that plays the Punisher in Netflix's The Punisher. We played on Friday the mission that is the prequel to this new game, and he's impressive. He is an impressive character. Just like when he's in the game, like, you listen. Like, he's very captivating as a character. So I'm really excited to see them do more with that. That's all for the news.
Let's catch up, Steven. What you been playing? What you been doing? You want me to go first, since you just kind of word vomited about ghosts?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. Well, Steven, I saw Detective Pikachu this weekend.
Yeah.
And I just want to walk down memory lane with you just for a second, Steven. Just a short stroll.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they announced, "Hey everybody, we're going to make a Detective Pikachu live action movie"? I swear we talked about it on the podcast.
We did.
We both thought, what a dumb idea. How stupid is this?
Stupidest thing. Yeah.
It's not going to work. Then we saw the first trailer, and I'll be damned if it didn't get me hyped. And I got really excited about it.
Yeah.
Steven, I'm here to tell you, the movie does not disappoint.
Excellent.
I was grinning ear to ear the whole time. It is not a perfect movie, but it is a strong 8 or 7, in my opinion. It is definitely a movie you must go see, and I don't just mean you, Steve. I mean like anybody who knows
you.
Yeah,
I pointed at the camera.
I was okay. you. Anybody should go see this movie. I highly recommend it for anybody, fans of Pokemon or not. It's great, and even especially if you're just like, even if you played Pokemon Go or something like that, you will enjoy this movie. It's not perfect, Steven. I fully understand it's not perfect. And when you see it, I'm sure there's a lot of plot and just writing details that you're going to notice. You're going to notice a lot more than I did, but it's bad if I notice some writing issues, right?
Right.
My biggest critique of the movie is how much they explain everything. And I think it was just kind of there's no winning, right? Because either people are going to be way confused because they don't know enough about the series, or they're going to feel over expositionized or whatever. Expository, whatever. There's several times where like they'll say a joke and explain it, and it's fine. Like I'll Mewtwo is in the movie, right? That's not a spoiler. That's in the trailers.
Spoilers.
Yeah. There's a scene where it's the first time Tim and Pikachu see Mewtwo, and the guy who's showing them this scene is explaining that they made Mewtwo from the fossil remains of the legendary Pokemon Mew. And so, like, as a Pokemon fan, I'm not a huge Pokemon fan. I'd say I'm above average Pokemon fan. I know that's a big deal, right? Like, I get it. But Pikachu follows up that with, so that means this is the most powerful Pokemon in the universe, or something like that. And so this is maybe a bad example, but like that's what happens in almost every reference. I don't really take points off for that reference, because I think people who have no idea about Pokemon needed to hear that, right? Like they needed to know, yeah, okay, so this is a really big guy. Okay, cool, I got that. But there's another moment where Magikarp shows up, and they're in the middle of a fight, and Pikachu's like, "Oh, Magikarp," and he like goes to him, and Tim's like, "Magikarp's useless; it can't do anything," and Pikachu goes, "No, Magikarp can turn into Gyarados. He just needs a little kick." And like he kicks him, and eventually he turns into Gyarados. I feel like as a Pokemon fan, they could have just not explained. He could have just said, "No, he just needs a little kick," and then like kick him, he turns into Gyarados. Oh man, what a surprise moment! But like they had to explain that for people who like don't Pokemon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think those kinds of issues are more forgivable, because and this is just my assumption. I'll let you know after I watch it. But when a movie does something like making us a kid again, this amazing thing happens when we stop caring. Right. And I feel like that's how this movie is for a lot of people. I feel like that's how it was for you.
Oh, absolutely.
And I feel like that's how it's going to be for me.
Yeah. And like I said, I was grinning ear to ear I give it a strong 7 or 8. I don't, like you said, these are very forgivable critiques. But I did find myself
and it's a kids
being
movie,
like,
technically.
okay, like, come on. You know, I get it. I understand. But I think they had to, because they knew there were going to be people seeing this who either had only played Pokemon Go, or maybe even people who hadn't gone that far. They just saw Ryan Reynolds is in this movie and went with that.
Right.
Which, by the way, his performance was fantastic.
Good. Was Danny DeVito in this film?
No, not that I noticed.
Dang it.
Were you expecting him to be in it?
I wanted a cameo from Danny DeVito. That's all I wanted.
Sorry to disappoint, Steven. There is no... now, this is another critique that I did have. There was not nearly enough Eevee in this movie. I'm honestly really, really ticked about it. There is one shot where there is an Eevee in silhouette. And in that scene, he evolves into Flareon. And that's it. That's all you get of Eevee. There's an Eevee balloon later, but that's it. And honestly, I'm a little ticked, because Eevee is the second most popular Pokemon next to Pikachu, and he deserved way more attention in this movie. And I'm mad about it.
Got to give you something to look forward to in a sequel.
Well, and that's a question, Steven, that I don't want to go into spoilers or anything, and I'm not going to, but I am really curious what they'll do about a sequel or a spin-off, because Pokemon don't talk, right? Meowth is like a rare exception. Mewtwo is another rare exception of Pokemon being able to speak. And I really think what sold this movie was two things. Number one, Pokemon are just freaking adorable, and Pokemon just work. You know what I mean? They're a fun concept that anyone can get behind. But number two, it really helped having Pikachu have a voice. And I never thought I would have said that, but after watching the movie, I think it really made a difference.
I'm sure it did. Because I'd be willing to bet that most of, if not all of the laughs came from Ryan Reynolds being Pikachu.
Yeah. And that's what I'm worried about, because I think this movie is going to do very well. And at the very least, it's going to do better than any other video game movie has ever done. And I hope they will do a sequel or a live-action spin-off. Obviously Mewtwo does have a connection to Kanto. So they say Kanto, they talk about Kanto. There's a huge potential that they could do, something with Ash and the original Pikachu live action. We could totally go somewhere else with this. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't work if the lead Pokemon character didn't have a voice, but I think it would work so much better if they could make that happen somehow.
I agree.
I don't know. Because, obviously, Pokemon as a series has gone on with only, Mewtwo or Meowth and the occasional other Pokemon being able to talk. And they've been fine, and they've been in fact, not fine, they've been successful. So maybe it could work. I just personally am nervous, because I do think a lot of the success of this movie is going to come from how Ryan Reynolds performed as Pikachu and all that good stuff. So anyway, other than that, I've been playing some Days Gone. Really, really enjoying the game. Really pissed about all the bugs that it has.
Yeah.
It has an annoying amount of bugs. What's most frustrating about it is half the time I don't know if the game's just broken or if I'm looking the wrong direction, because there have been several this happened recently. The past couple days that I've been playing, I've had to restart the game after a couple hours, or do some sort of checkpoint reset or something, because a lot of my cutscenes, the audio has been off sync, which is not a big deal, but after you watch like a couple scenes and they're off sync, it gets really annoying. And at one point, it was so off sync that the scene would finish before the dialogue would finish, and so the dialogue would just end Like they'd be in the middle of a sentence and it's just done.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but I was doing an ambush camp, and when you finish taking out a camp, there's a bunker that if you go in the bunker, you'll find a map and a recipe for some sort of weapon or device or whatever that you can craft. And I was looking around and I could not find the bunker, but there was this gate that looked like it led down into a cave, and I was like, okay, that makes so much sense. The gate had a door. It looked just like other gates that you were able to open, but I couldn't open the gate. And I was just like, I don't know if it's broken and it's just not letting me go through the gate, or if I'm not supposed to go through this gate. Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And so that's a problem. Like, in a game that I was confident that it was working the whole time, like, because I've had that issue before. I've had issues where I couldn't go through a door because the square button to open the door wouldn't show up. So, like, coming here where it's like, oh, great, a gate's not opening again because the square button. The bunker wasn't down there. I wasn't meant to go in that room. But I had to question that because the game has so many issues.
Right.
And it's just frustrating. It's annoying. And when it's something that I have to stop and reset to keep going, that's very annoying.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know. I really like the game, but I wish they would fix it.
Yeah, I get that. I've been there.
Steven, what have you been playing or watching?
So Anna and I finally caught up on My Hero Academia.
Are y'all like all the way through this current season?
All the way through season 3. The episode with Midoriya and Bakugo was so heavy, so good. It was awesome.
It's a good show. I miss it.
Love it. So we just finished that, so we're looking for another show to watch. But as far as what I've been playing, I'm pretty much just waiting for all of the games to start coming out this summer. Because I've got Blood and Truth coming out at the end of this month. That's the VR London heist game. It looks like John Wick meets Kingsman.
That's an accurate description. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah. Then Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming, and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Which Jake, and maybe we talk about this next week since the coverage is still happening, but Game Informer has been doing a lot of coverage this month for Ultimate Alliance 3, and it's been a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it. I'm not a big fan of that style of game. Yeah. Just because it's, I just don't like. I know they really do individualize the characters, and they have different move sets, but there is this level of everyone has a similar control scheme, and like it does feel very samey, and I don't know.
Right.
I need to watch some content and see more of it, but yeah.
Before we do next week's podcast, I'll send you what I've seen. Mm-hmm. But it looks good. I'm really excited for it. That's July 17th, I think. Daemon X Machina is still supposed to come out in the summer. We don't know when. I'm really hoping they do it's out today announcement at E3. That'd be great.
They probably will.
Then Fire Emblem, that's coming too, and then Control in August. Like once the games start coming out for me, they're gonna keep coming. Like when Blood and Truth starts, like that's gonna start the games for me. I've got a game coming out every month through October.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure. You got a lot to do. I'm getting Control as well. I'm really looking forward to Control.
Yeah, me too. I'm intentionally looking up nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going in completely blind on that game because I just trust Remedy.
Yeah.
That much. But I've been playing this game right now. It's all that to be said. I've been playing this game called For the King. And it's been out on PC, but it just came out on PlayStation and Switch this week. And it's a weird combination of things. It is a roguelike turn-based RPG. Not XCOM turn-based, Final Fantasy turn-based. And it's up to 3-player co-op. or you can play 3 characters solo. But each character, like, it has a map that is procedurally generated, and that's the roguelike element. If you lose the campaign, you can spend lore that you earned in that campaign to, like, get new classes or new items and stuff like that to start a new campaign in a new procedurally generated world. There are different, quote-unquote, campaigns you can do. Like, one is avenging the death of the king. Another one is going into the mountains. There's another one that has to do with, like, killing a kraken, stuff like that. And each one of them has a procedurally generated map. And the map is like Civilization, kind of, where it's like all of the hexagons, and there's something at each hexagon. And so in the overworld, each character, this is in co-op and in single player, each character can do their own thing. So I could have a fetch quest that says, take this envelope to this city, and I could be like, I need to keep my minstrel out of combat, so I'm going to run him to do that fetch quest to complete it for the party, while I have my warrior and my ranger go clear out a cave of enemies. So it's interesting. I've never played anything like it before. I've played a lot of things that have elements of it, but it's one of those weird games that combines a lot of stuff that you haven't seen combined. But it's a lot of fun. It's really frustrating because the numbers are BS sometimes.
It's local co-op,
but,
right?
It's online. You can do local or online.
Okay, yeah. We might have to do a Let's Play of it. I just looked at it on my phone.
It would be a great Let's Play. It would be a great Let's Play. It'd be a great live stream. It would be really good.
Well, I've just added it to our Let's Play list, so we may be doing that soon.
It's one of those games that, like, I saw it, like, I frequently check the Nintendo eShop, like, once a week at least, to see if they've announced a release date for Daemon X Machina.
That's a little desperate, Steven.
I really want to play it. I got the demo. The demo hooked me. I'm so excited. And I saw For the King, and I saw roguelike, turn-based RPG, and I was like, I love all of those things.
I love all these words.
So I got it, and I really enjoy it. It's one of those games that it's a neat little $20 gem.
Right.
That I'm glad I bought.
Well, good. We'll have to play that. Well, hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this episode of ChortleCast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're watching on YouTube, you're already at chortlegames.com, and you can like this video, share it with your friends, leave us a comment, let us know what you thought. If you're an iTunes listener, you can leave a review on this podcast, and that'll help other people find it. You can email us at chortlecast@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought about the show. Let us know if you have any topics you'd like to hear us talk about, questions you'd like us to answer, stuff like that. We do that there. You can also join our Discord, which you can do through the banner of our YouTube channel or in the description of this video and or podcast. We have a whole channel that's dedicated to podcast topics and questions. So feel free to drop some stuff in there. We'll check it out. Sometimes it's stuff that we're already planning on talking about, so that's always great when that happens. But anyway, you can do all that. Last but not least, you can follow us on Twitter at ChortleGames and Facebook at ChortleGames. And you can, let us know what you think there, or just, keep up with what we're doing. Because we do a lot of stuff, don't we, Steven?
We do.
Some would say too much.
Some would.
Some would. So we don't do just the podcast. We have lots of other content happening. In fact, one of the things we need to talk about, and this is not immediate that's going to happen, but starting in June, pretty much through the month of June and July, we are going to be dropping the Tuesday/Thursday live streams, just to give us a little bit more breathing room over the summer to catch up. Steven just got married recently. He's learning how to be a husband and doing all that stuff.
Yes.
And work is crazy and all this jazz. I have been in the process of moving, in the process of dealing with insurance over some kid who wrecked my car. So we've just been very busy. Also, I'm filming a bunch of weddings right now, so that's taking up some of my editing time. So we're cutting the Tuesday, Thursday live stream over the summer. Everything else should be normal, but you still got a while. That's only going to start in June. So here's what we're doing this week, ladies and gentlemen. You've just finished watching the podcast. That's 12 o'clock Central Time every Monday. Stay tuned tonight, because if you're watching this live, because Steven is going to be playing Division 2 tonight. with our friends Friendly Fire Games and 8-Bit Gamesters, Jeremy from 8-Bit Gamesters. So that's going to be fun. Then on Tuesday and or Thursday, we do a co-op live stream. We call it Team Up Tuesday or Team Up Thursday. Steven, do we know if it's going to be on Tuesday or Thursday this week? I think we've kind of just been doing it on Tuesday for the most part.
I won't be able to do Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be on Thursday if I'm involved.
Okay.
Whenever we do it, as always, I'm reserving the spot to be Borderlands with Brody if he's available. Oh, shoot. I may not be able to do Thursday because John Wick 3 comes out, and I'm going to see that.
Oh, crap. Well, I might cover Team Up Tuesday.
Okay.
We'll just see. We'll
Cool.
play it out. Play it by ear. On Wednesday, we have a Let's Play that comes out every Wednesday. This Wednesday is celebrating Mother's Day because that was yesterday. I hope you celebrated with your mom. So this Wednesday is going to be a video of my mom experiencing VR for the first time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Me and Steven put her in a Shark Tank and let her experience that. So Steven's there with me. We had a really good time. We filmed that a long time ago.
I've been waiting a very long time for this Let's Play.
I've only looked at bits and pieces of it, so I'm really excited to get through it as well. But anyway, that will be Wednesday, and then on Friday and Saturday we will have a live stream there. So it'll be a lot of good stuff. So, anywho, we do a lot of stuff, Steven. We do a lot of stuff. It's going to be a good summer. It's going to be a good rest of the year. We're coming up on our 3rd year anniversary, Steven, of the channel.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Crazy. We're also 30 days away from E3. Actually, 29 as of this airing of this podcast.
Man.
We'll talk.
Not ready for it.
Well, no, we're not ready at all. We will be talking more about our E3 plans coming soon. In years past, we've done live reactions, but it may be a little bit different this year. So we'll have to see. Everyone's too busy for E3 this year. But anyway, stay tuned for all that. Thank you guys for watching. And thank you, Steven, for being here and being a part of this. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you later. Maybe tonight. Maybe tomorrow night. Anyway, be good to one another. We'll see you next time. Bye.